What's up, everybody? It's looking like you made it to my channel. Here you can see ramblings, reactions, interviews, and more. Talk about things that sometimes you wouldn't understand and sometimes you really want to know about. If you like the content, go ahead and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, leave a like on a video so that way I know you want more content. If you want to send a message or request a song, there's many different methods to go through that. Ask me about it or leave it in the comments. With that being said, let's get it started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Savage Smoke Sessions. This week, we've got PolarBear. PolarBear's a Canadian artist. And go ahead and say hello, introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? PolarBear. I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia, born and raised. I've been here my whole life, and I'm just releasing shit that I wanted to release for a long time, guys. And I thank all y'all for your support and the opportunity to do so.
Okay. So as you know, this is where we're supposed to be an interview, but everybody knows I'm unconventional. It's not no interview. This is where we BS, hang out, and just talk. But I do got a question because I've seen it asked about numerous times. I've had comments where it asked about it. Did your parents name you PolarBear, or did you change your name?
Legally, I changed my name. I was not born PolarBear. I was given the name PolarBear when I was about 6 years old. It didn't really stick at first, but once I hit junior high, I just lived down around the street from my junior high school. So in the middle of winter, if I had gym in the morning or something like that, I would just run to school in my shorts. It didn't matter how fucking cold it was, or snowing or not. So the name really started to stick then, and so eventually, all my bills started coming out in that name too. So I just changed my name legally to PolarBear.
That would be crazy to get a bill in the name PolarBear. Even if I got one, if something came in the mail and it said Chill or Mr. Savage and then Chills behind it, like, I don't know. But yeah. I mean,
yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was cool, man. The first time I got one, I couldn't believe it. It was from a bank.
How did your parents feel when they seen it?
They kind of knew it was going to happen,
Okay.
So when it did happen, they were kind of happy that it happened. They didn't like that I did it, but because they wanted me to keep my birth name. But the whole world knew me as Polar, man. So the other person didn't exist anymore. I changed who I was.
Yeah. So you got this new track that you put out, and
yeah,
basically you're going to be releasing a video on it today. What's the story behind it?
Today, 4 p.m. AST, we dropped the video for Blinded. It's literally 20 years in the making, 22 years, sorry. 22 years ago today, I recorded that song. That's the very first song that I ever recorded in a professional studio. The whole thing happened just by chance. And back then, when I recorded my stuff, it was all like, I did it in a basement on a tape player. There was no editing or software to piece you in anywhere. So you either knew your lyrics and you rapped it from front to back, or you had all this choppy, shitty sounding stuff, right? In these basement tapes. So when I went in to do it.
1 second. Speaking of choppy and shitty, that was just like the video that was on my end. I was trying to make it clear as possible, and it kind of froze up. But we're good. Go ahead. My bad on it.
No worries, dude. So one night I got a call at work, and it was from Bon Shaw, the guy that produced the song. And he said, yo, we're going into the studio tonight. I want you to come in and see what it's like to be in a real studio. Just get the experience, meet everybody that we're working with. And I went up to see him before we went. And here's the beat for Blinded. I just so happened to write the song the night before, and all day I had been rapping that song at work. Just all day. It was a new style for me to rap, like it was, I'd never written that way before. So when I got to his house, he was just like, rap. spit it then. So I spit the song and he was like, yo, it's dope. It's tight. If you want the beat, it's yours. So when we got to the studio, there was about 13 other artists there getting ready to record their shit. So back then it was DAT tapes and stuff. So we had to wait for all the beats to get loaded up and everything like that. So I'm listening to everybody warm up. It was really cool, man, because there's so many different styles and different flows and different techniques. People that I had been watching, perform, and I was supporting them by buying their albums, all these underground artists. And here I am sitting in the same room with all of them at the same time, fucking. It was mind blowing, right? So finally, Steve, the tech at Deep Nine Studios, and Bon Shaw, they turned around and they said, "Okay, we're ready. Who wants to go first?" And the room was dead silent. And something in me was just like, "Yo, do you have my beat here?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "How much for me to record that song? Because I'll do it right now." And he said, "If you want to do it, let's just do it. We'll work that out." So we did it. And I went into the booth. It was the first time in a professional booth, man, and I didn't know what to do. I was nervous as all fuck because I got all these people in front of me that I idolized, especially Bon Shaw, man. Like he took me to the next level, to the next level, to the next level when it came to like my writing and my delivery and my breathing and my focus on my writing and stuff and how to grow and shit like that, right? Like, and I was writing shit back then that he wished he could write about, like love songs and shit like that. And he didn't know how to express himself in those ways, right? So when I'm in the booth for the first time, I go in, I let up a little joint, and I'm talking to the microphone, and I'm just like, "Yo, I'm nervous as fuck, but we're gonna do this tonight, da 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 da." And I was just kind of blessing the mic for giving me this opportunity. And little did I know, everybody in the fucking room could hear me. So half of them are laughing. Bon Shaw stands up and he claps his hands, and he's like, "Yo, man, this is really nice." So 2 minutes later, the beat starts and I rap the song from front to back because that's how I knew how to record. I didn't know how to stop and piece things together and put this here and put that there. It was you fucking deliver that shit front to back or you don't deliver the shit, right? I was still
I remember
basement
that.
tape. I was still basement tape guy. You know what I mean? Like that's how I did it. So what you hear there is literally the first time I ever fucking delivered a line on a microphone was first take, and then that's what blinded is. And that's why in the middle of the first two verses, like I had to step back from the mic because the guys were just like, "Yo, man, what the fuck?" And I was like, "Y'all hearing, hey, you even hear it in the song when they so I finished recording the song. I fucked off outside for a smoke, and all the other artists started recording their stuff. A couple days later, I got a phone call from Bon Shaw, and he said, "Yo, man, I want you to come over." And I came over, and he had been over at Deep Nine the day before with DJ Candyman, and DJ Candyman threw the scratches on the record. They did a rough mix down. It wasn't supposed to be the final mix down, but it ended up being the final mix down. And he gave me the song, so I wanted DJ Candyman to have his spot too. So that's why all the scratching at the end. And that, the song is literally from the year 2000, man. So back then scratching was a thing too in hip hop.
Yeah.
So that's became a part of the song at the end. Nowadays it ain't like that. You don't have all this extra fucking instrumental at the end for you to enjoy that part of the song. You know what I mean? It's like front to back. You got to be, got to deliver it and then end it right at the end. But that's, music is a part of that. In music, man, if your lyric doesn't complement the beat and the beat doesn't complement the lyric, then what the hell are you actually doing? Like it's supposed to be music.
I'm with you a
So
million percent on that. We have a lot of people, and I brought this up before, not with you necessarily, but I brought this up before. You got a lot of people that make these songs, and they cannot go and get on a live stage. Period, because it's
yeah,
like every other set of bars is something that they added in after the fact. It's like no, because if you can't get that lined up, how you going to go on a stage and get it lined up?
that's right, man. You go. So I had a rule. Once what Bon Shaw and I started, once that became my sole thing, um, when I brought artists in to work with me and stuff, and when we were in the studio, like I became the one take guy, kind of, because I had the rule was know your shit, man. Just know it's your shit. Know your fucking lyrics. You're going into a studio.
Yes.
Focus on your delivery. You got to focus on your breathing. You got to focus on your stance. Are you pushing from the chest or are you pushing from the gut on this song? You got to focus on that shit. Well, how much time you got to read off a phone or read off a piece of paper? I can tell you when you're reading off a piece of paper. Know your shit. So if somebody got in the booth and they had to tape the fucking lyrics up on the window, I said, get the fuck out. You're wasting my money. You're wasting my time. Know your shit. Know your shit. And
Yeah, I could
people
see where.
fucking hate me for it. So they stopped working with me because they didn't want to memorize their shit. And I'm like, well, dude, next week you want to put this song out on a stage. You want to be on stage with me and deliver this shit. Like how are you gonna do that if you can't even do it in a fucking studio in front of two people?
I could
You're
agree
gonna have
with you about
in front of
90% on that,
your shit. Know
but
your shit.
what about, I would have to say on that aspect, well, out of the 90%, there's still that 10%. And that 10% is what about them few words? Like Mises used punching them words. There's a couple words you want to put in there. You feel that they gotta
Yeah,
go in there, but you can't because they struggle, they make everything else struggle. For breaths, for spacing right, things of that
yeah,
nature.
yeah,
Even though those words you still fall back on, I feel that the 10%, if they was to put something on a window of a studio and it was just those words, that would be a different story because hey, I'm just remember, don't fall back on that word, have this one ready. So
yeah,
something like that, I would disagree with it. But the rest of the lyrics, I remember when I used to write lyrics, I would freestyle them first, then I would write
yeah,
them down. Because if you don't
yeah,
freestyle it, you can't get it out. And I've
yeah,
honestly, that's how I learned how to do the breaths personally, the easiest by freestyling it and having it come natural.
yeah. That's kind of like it's kind of my writing technique, man. When I'm writing, I'm writing or I'm talking into my phone or whatever, I'm listening to a beat, I'm getting a feeling, or I'm going through some shit and I just talking to myself about it. And I put it together like you say, like a story. I try and involve the fan involve the people with the emotion that I'm going through at that time. And if I'm not expressing that in the proper way and I'm not putting that emotion into it, how are they supposed to feel it? You know what I
Um,
mean? So
Real quick, I gotta interrupt you. I just gotta say, anybody that just seen that link come up on the chat and YouTube, do not click on it. That person was just banned permanently. They're trying to get you to click on a link to get your info. That's one of them bots that they run. Just don't click on those links. Um,
fuck.
okay, go ahead. My bad. I was just keeping an eye on chat and I seen it pop up, and we get them bots that pop up and it's like two words with a dot with a period between it. It's
Oh yeah,
keyloggers. So
yeah, yeah.
okay,
So man,
no, go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, no, yeah, no, you go ahead, man.
I
I was
was
pretty
gonna
much done.
say somebody in chat said, what's up, y'all? Agreed. If you come to a job site and don't have a hammer knowing you're pounding nails all day, well, don't come without a hammer.
What the
So
fuck, right? Right?
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So what's on
You
the
know?
agenda for okay, we know what's coming up with this. I'm going to be reacting to this. So everybody just a heads up. I am going to be doing the reaction to Polar Bear song later on, probably about 6 o'clock tonight. I have to go to a birthday party before I do, and I won't be home when it's released. But you just put out Blinded. You just completed the video. What's
Yeah.
next?
What's next? What's next? Well,
What you can
next,
say
next
of what's next?
next is something very personal. Next is something that I know a lot of people have gone through, and a lot of people have felt this way. So I put that experience to paper, and we came up with a really nice way to say goodbye to somebody. in a relationship sense.
Gotcha.
But still fucking smart ass about it, you know. You
Sounds like
know,
fun.
but it is like it's very personal. These things really happen. That you know the things that I talk about are very personal. I got a couple of these songs coming out very soon, over the next couple of months. We also have I got a track I recorded just about 2 weeks ago, and it's called "The Lost Verses," and it's some of my older verses that are part of my story. You know, which is part of people. I'm gonna put this out. People keep asking for the rest of the creases in my boots.
That was a hell of a
So,
song.
so the creases in my boots is the story. You know, the story of my youth, the story of the truth and the pain I've been through. Right? It's the story. The album is called "The Creases in My Boots." The story
Gotcha.
is the rest of the songs. The story is the experiences. The story is what brought me to where I am in the past couple of years of my life. Um, it's kind of the album that I always wanted to make and say, but it's half of the album because there's the first half that got to me where I am, and there's the other half that got to me where I mentally grew, and the real some of the real hard pain that I went through personally with my family and stuff like that. So that's the next project. But we're not focused on that one right now. We're focused on the creases in my boots and some of my older music being part of those creases. Some of them creases that tells that story. They kind of have to be on that album. Hence the reason Blinded is being done because it's part of that story.
God. Okay, so I got another one for you here. What was that? What was that final straw? What was that final thing that said, "Time to put my head into this music and go forward, and without turning back"?
Um,
And it,
Honestly, man. So it's funny how it happened because there was never it was never even a fucking thing. Like it was never even a thought. So I went here's how it happened. I went through a really dark period in my life a couple of years ago. And Tom and Nova and Brandon, they helped me through that with their music and shit and saved me. So I wanted to say thanks. And I had this idea to kind of make a song to say thanks and a stupid little video with, you know, I'm a carpenter, so I was going to build a set in the backyard and, and do what they do, but just one,
yeah,
just to have fun. And as I started like constructing this idea in my head, he released the video for Balloons. Or no, he released the album. I'm sorry, the album. When he released the album and I heard the song Balloons, man, I kind of related to that the previous year before when I was going through that dark period. I felt like I really related to that song with him. And I wanted to say to him, like, you're not alone. So instead of like, a 20-second TikTok video or a fucking, a Facebook message that they have to read or whatever, I wanted to make a real personal message to them and say why I'm thanking them and let them know why, the actual fucking, the pain behind it and what they helped me through. And uh, being part of the fam, I knew there was other people out there that felt that way. So I came up with this idea that maybe a few people want to join me. And so let's do this fucking project. It is a lot like the My Fans video, but it's not My Fans, man. It's not. There's a lot of personal stories that have been sent. So I came up with the idea of the HOG family videos, a little piece of us to give back to them for all the shit that they've given us over the years, and the actual personal stories and the tears and the pain behind it,
yeah.
and so whether fans just wanted to jump on there and say, hey, we love your shit, or, like you helped me through this, or if they really wanted to tell a story and really put their heart out there, man, then they could do that, and
So the ones in
so
that group,
what's
Polar Bear,
that?
the I've seen a few different videos where it was like collabs of a bunch of different videos together in a group. They were telling Tom and Nova thanks and stuff like that. Is that the? Did you produce them ones, or is that somebody else that had put them up? Because I know
Well,
Tom took some of them.
I to try and get more HOG involved. I shot 3 kind of trailers for the idea of the video. Uh, I couldn't put some of the videos in it, but I did include some clips of videos in it for, just to include the fans in the trailer. And then the third trailer, I made it exclusively for their fans to be, for the
I
fam to do
wonder
it, because I didn't want people to think that it's like it's all about me, this thing. It's not. It was never that. It was about getting people involved in this. And one day we were all on, I started the group, We All Family Now on Facebook. What's up, fam? Love y'all. And somebody made a post about writing poetry and stuff like that. So I left a little poem that I wrote there, and people said that they wanted to hear a little bit more. So I was like, cool. And I was literally at Trash's house, Trash the Landfill that does all the videos, when I was writing on this post. And he said, well, let's do it, but let's make a little video for it. So that's where they came from. They was something that I wrote 20 years ago, that, I still felt was relevant to today. Just a little spoken word thing that I wrote just for writing experience. It just came out one day, kind of how I felt about shit.
one.
And so we shot a little video for it and released that. The response was crazy. Within the first few hours, there was like 500 views on it. I couldn't believe it, because it wasn't about that, but it was just like, holy shit, and I was like, that's really cool. But the trailers were getting a lot of exposure. A lot of people were watching them. A lot of people were contacting me about the video and stuff, and I thought it was great. It was fucking awesome. So um, that night was New Year's when we released that. New Year's Eve day we dropped day. And so I was with Trash, and his plans fell through and my plans fell through. So we ended up coming. I said, well, man, challenge. I wrote the creases in my boots 15 years ago, and I there is there is more to the creases in my boots, the song. There is more, but we cut it off at that point for the the
Story
wanting more,
effect. The
just for
story
the effect.
effect.
Yeah, man. So
You
it's
absolutely nailed it on that song. Like both songs that I've seen. I mean, I think you might have done one more, but the two that I can remember, which is "Blinded" and "Creases in My Boots," both of those
yeah,
songs ended on like such a cliffhanger. You could have come out, made a 5 minute bullshit video where you were just talking in the same clothing, and I
yeah,
guarantee you people would have been able to try to connect it in some way somehow because it was
yeah,
like
yeah,
that much of a cliffhanger.
yeah. I loved just the way when I recorded the creases in my boots, and I did a second take, and then when I did a third take, that's when the last line came out, where I said, but that's a story for another time. And when that happened, like Trash even like smacked the fucking table, and he was like, dude, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, dude, I don't know, but this is really cool. It was just a really cool thing, because we challenged each other that day, and we just said, yo, let's take the creases, let's make a 2 minute video and a 2 minute song, let's do it all today, and let's release it tomorrow, and let's just see the feedback that we get from it. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So we already had plans that night. He had separate plans, I had separate plans. They had fallen apart. So we were just going to sit there together and chat to the fam on the fam page, because we had that New Year's Eve fam night, that video chat room set up. So we ended up taking the phone and jumping in the truck and fucking off and driving around the city and taking all these shots over there, and there was a shooting over here and there was a stabbing over there. So we jumped over to the fucking to one of those scenes and jumped in front of the cop car, and I'm on the phone with the fam. I'm like, yo, we're about to shoot this, just a sec. And I stick the phone into my pocket, and that's literally what you see in the at the end of the creases in my boots when I say, hey, it's Polar. yeah, you see me looking at my phone and sticking it in my pocket and look down because the cops were coming back up the street walking. So we had to shoot
Wow.
as fast as we fucking could and fuck off back to the truck. It was great. It was a great night, man. It was so much fun. It was just about the experience, man. And since then, people have asked for more music, and we're just having fucking fun, man. We're literally having fun doing what we're doing, man. It's not about the fame. It's not about that shit. It's about making the music. It's about having fun with it, man. If I wasn't having
Absolutely.
fun with it, if I wasn't enjoying what I was doing, I definitely would not be fucking doing it because I turned 42 on Tuesday, and
Well, happy birthday. Everybody
you
gotta
know,
go to his
it,
page and
I'm
slam
not
him with
trying.
happy birthdays.
Yeah, I'm I'm not looking for fortune and fame, man. We're literally having fun. If something happens, by the graces of whoever, then great. But if not, then great at the same time. We're still having a great fucking time. We appreciate everybody's love and support that they show us, and that's what it's about, man.
One
You
thing
know,
I'm starting to notice with a lot of artists is it's us old heads. It's like the Gen X. It's like, hey, by the way, we're gonna have to come back and take music back because these 2 and 3 letter flows, it's not doing it.
little whatchamacallit and big whoever. Fuck them guys, man. I'm tired of that stuff. It's all
I
garbage, man.
mean,
It really is.
not only that, you got a lot of artists that are barely out of Gen X or right before Gen X. That it seems, that, for instance, I mean, look at Tom McDonald. Is he
Yeah, man.
I don't know exactly how old he is. I can't think offhand, but I think he might fall in a millennial age. I'm not sure though.
Yeah,
But
I can't remember. I can't remember if he's. I'm trying to remember what year he was born. He was born in the 80s, I think, 86.
oh well, he's right on the edge then. So, but what I'm saying is like it's like those artists are the ones that people were starting to really want to hear. And a lot of this manufactured crap where they're taking a whole bunch of different sounds and different beats and mashing them together and saying, hey, this is a new beat when it's got this complete bass line from an 80s rock song that they just
Yeah,
decided to try to implement into a rap beat and say that it's new. It's too distracting. They're putting too much
yeah,
into it, and
yeah.
people how can people focus on the flow if you're hitting
Man,
people with distractions like that?
that's right. Keep it simple, man. Keep it simple. You don't need to, you don't need 10,000 sounds in a song, we do that when we're making beats. We'll drag, we'll put this sound in there, or we'll strum this, or we'll beat that, and it's 10 minutes later, it's like 10 minutes before that, oh, that's fucking awesome. 10 minutes later, it's like nah, it's nah, yeah, you know.
I'm gonna
You can
I'm gonna
do
get
that.
three basic instruments. Go ahead.
Man. So we have that philosophy too. It's keep it simple, man. Like you don't need to spend 50 hours making a fucking beat, you know. But at the same time, it's nice to play around and make sure that you get that right feel. Like for example, we recorded a song the other day, and I took a rough copy of it home, and I sat in the truck and I'm listening to it for like 2 hours, and I was just like, man, you know what, like. I like it, but there's a portion of the song where we changed the beat for a second, and I said, no, I went back the next day and I said, you know what? We need to get rid of the rest of this and make it all that because that is the feeling in the song, and that's what we need to put there. If we don't change that, this is going to fall on its face. So we kept that other sound in other parts of the song for, because it does complement the song, but not in the right way behind the verses. So we changed that up, switched that up, and it completely changed the sound of the song, the feel of the song, the layout of the song. So we rolled with it, and yeah, it turned out great. It
So let
turned out
me
great.
ask you this then. What's your
Yeah,
thoughts on taking a real basic beat and just adding unorthodox instruments to it? For instance, I talked to a few different people about making a beat where they're
yeah,
taking a bagpipes, a
yeah,
violin, a piano, and an electric guitar with whatever bass line they want to run to create a beat. What's your opinion on unorthodox instruments being added into rap? Guitar is not unorthodox. It's been added plenty of times. Violin here
Uh,
and there, you might hear it, but
um,
the whole idea
in one song?
in one song, like start off with the bagpipes and then go from there with the rest of the instruments. Have the interlude with the bagpipes, go back to the instruments. Like bagpipes would be too overpowering for a whole song. But if you open up with it and then go hit somewhere throughout the middle, it just raises up a little bit and then ends with it. But you got all these other instruments, which are solo instruments, really
Uh,
powerful.
that's a nice little challenge, actually. That's
Yeah, like I've reached out to a few different beat makers. Two of them laughed about it, like you're just nuts. That dude, I don't think I could do it. It would hurt my head to do it. I can't do it. Or oh, we want like $5,000 to do. No, 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 no. I'm asking if you can do it. I'm not asking you to do it. I'm saying, can you do it, and how would it sound?
well, it would definitely be an interesting sound, but it depends on what you're using each sound for. You know what I mean? And what each instrument for. Because
You know,
if you're
well,
going
see,
for a full out strum on everything, then it's gonna sound like fucking Mad Max movie, right? So I mean, but it's all in how you use your imagination, man. I always say to people that I've seen the song "A Thousand or 199 Red Balloons" done with a red balloon, and but he actually does the whole song with the sounds that he makes with a red balloon, one
wow.
red balloon. So um, is it possible to use those and make a beat? Yes. Are we going to try? Well, you've got the fucking idea in my head now. So,
No, I was asking the idea of using unorthodox instruments for in general. Like,
no, no, yeah, we're totally open to that shit. Yeah,
okay. Because I mean,
yeah.
back in the '80s, whenever they were making rock,
We're working on a track right now. Actually, it's all about depression. I suffer from depression and anxiety and a couple other things, but so my battles with depression sometimes are fucking heavy, man. So we got a song coming out called Broken Glass where, it's kind of a mixture of hip hop with some heavy metal mixed into it a bit just to get that feel. That's the feel that, goes along with depression with some people sometimes. So for me to express it the right way, the beat has to be the right way, or the instrumental, however you want to say it, has to be the right way, and has to have the same effect. So we're trying to branch out and do new things, man.
oh,
Make
that would be
music,
like, you,
make music, right? Like it's we're not just trying to make the next song. It's songs are easy. Music is the expression of yourself in your heart and your soul, man, and what you got going on in your life. And if you're cheating on that, then you're cheating yourself. So
is,
if it ain't true, if I ain't experienced it, felt it, wrote it, lived it, tasted it, touched it, fucked it, I ain't talking about it.
I say for you and your style of music, you could absolutely freak everybody out because they would never expect it. You would have to need some sort of Norse type music where they use the harps and everything like that, combining
Yeah.
it with something like reggae, and you just flow to it. Just complete opposites from so far away from each other. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but I bet it
Yeah.
would sound good.
But yeah, it's all about it's all about the man. Sometimes we're you when we used to sit there and make beats years ago, like 20 years ago, 22 years ago, like 23 years ago. That's when I was recording the last, man. Like this literally was not supposed to, like, it's not a thing that we were aiming to do. That's not what it was about. It's not what it's about. We're having fun.
Yeah,
But
but when we were
back
recording
then,
back in 20 years ago, we were dinging
20 years
spoons together to
ago,
make noises.
yeah, Yeah, we literally have songs from way back then where we're doing the same thing Snoop was doing with the Coke bottles, and like and dinging keys against the bottom of a fucking bottle and stuff. Like we do, anything to get these different sounds, cool sounds that today you got 50 billion sample packages you can get with every fucking sound known to man on them, so you don't need to do that shit. But we still do that shit. We
Yeah, I
still
still like the original Phil.
that's we want that sound, like if this is supposed to sound like a vinyl record, it's gonna sound like a fucking vinyl record. Like it's not supposed to sound with it like a song without a beat, with just a beat. So like I said, we got another song like just like that, where we just felt like there was something missing from the song. And in the end, we threw a vinyl sound behind it, and man, it took, it just took it to that next level, man. It just made the song that much better. And so now, incorporated into the thoughts for a possible video for that is, the whole vinyl record thing. So if you ever see that in video, you'll know
Gotcha.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. See, with me when it came to all the studio stuff, when I started making music, I was using Vegas Pro on a computer. That was it. We would put like mattresses on a wall or something and use Vegas Pro.
Dude.
Like really shitty microphones, but we made it. I mean, we was making music. I quit whenever, like, about 5 years after I started, and I started seeing all these kids, and it's like, these kids are running around talking about some really horrid shit. Now they're getting killed constantly. I don't want to be part of that. So I focused on my life of work and everything like that, but I never actually recorded in a studio.
Yeah.
Now I'm 38 years old. It's like, okay, forget that. I don't have to go to a studio. I'm gonna build one.
Well,
So I'm in pretty much. I haven't had enough time to put it together. I have everything.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah, yeah. It's man, I I I hate seeing where hip hop has gone, man. I think
it's so
you know,
horrid.
few hip hop heads that are left that are actual artists. But other than that, man, like I even see some big names. I don't want to say any names, but even big artists, man, that just, man, you kind of fell off of what you were doing, like, and I kind of lost respect for them in that manner, and they talk a lot of shit now, and it's like, dude, man, where's your backbone? Where's your compassion?
I could name
It's
one, but I would piss
on it the
half the people that subscribe to my channel
success.
off if I
So
said it. I could
yeah,
absolutely name one artist that did that, and I would piss at least 50% of my subscribers off. But the
that's
fact is, you shouldn't
why
attack somebody over political beliefs. And when
that's
you're one of the largest names and you do it at a Super Bowl, everybody sees it. So now everybody knows exactly who I'm referring to. So I'm not, yeah,
well, a lot
I,
of people feel
I just, me personally, I don't think anybody should be attacked for what they believe in unless it has to do with them inflicting something on somebody else. If you
yeah,
want to believe that there's pigs outside floating in the air because you're seeing them because you ate something bad, I'm not going to say what it is, but because you ate something bad, you walk outside and something's floating, that's your choice no matter how screwed up it is.
yeah.
I'm like all for.
That's right, man. Like if a person has their beliefs and what they want and how they want to live and what they want to do and what they want to think, and that's completely up to you. But don't push that agenda on me. Don't push that shit on me, because I don't push my shit on you.
I'm the same way.
If I do my thing, I live the way that I want to live. I think the way that I want to think, and I don't care what the next person thinks about that. It took me a long time to figure that out, but once I did, it was like, you know what? Fuck that. I don't care what you think about what I think, because those are my thoughts. That's my opinion, and what yours is, I don't care about either. Like, but that's completely up to you. Like when people make big deals about having differences in opinions. Like
I just
uh, it,
it's
it's
sad that
childish.
we don't have the civil discourse no more. I mean,
Yeah,
I can remember being in school and there was debate teams and stuff. Now
yeah,
it's these kids might end up like walking
with a
off
fucking
and
blunt
suing
and fucking
somebody.
debate. You know, who's taking out little Johnny today? You know, You
It's
know?
crazy. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. What, okay, when it comes to music, so
Yeah,
obviously everybody has their own style, but I always
yeah.
try to get one of those tips from every artist on something that somebody could do to improve their music. You mentioned breathing earlier. So, what's your biggest tip for an up and coming artist? As long as you're making actual music and not two word rap songs, and
Yeah.
but for breathing, what would
To,
you
to,
suggest?
the biggest thing is my number one rule is know your shit. That's one thing. Is just know your lyrics. But with breathing, it's knowing for this next phrase, I don't need to go and get a full length fucking breath out just to get this next sentence out. I can take a short little breath and not get that sound behind it. But
Yeah.
you know, if you need to spit the next 4 bars or 6 bars, and you got it so jam packed with words that you can't take that next breath, get that full let breath in there. You know, get that full length there. But you know, and but for the shorter sentences and stuff, just take what you need, man. Take what you need. That you know, you'll find it's so much easier to express. You know, so much easier to form your words because you know your lungs aren't so filled up that you're fucking choking your neck out with you know you're like choking on your words. You know, you don't need to do that the whole time. So knowing your shit literally teaches you them those times to take those breaths, and it helps you form your writing as well, because when like a lot of people nowadays they can write a bar, 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 and then they'll go record that bar, and then they'll go record that bar, and then they'll
That's
go
what I was talking
record
about
that
earlier.
bar, this one, and then that one, and then that one, and 10 hours later they got a song recorded, and now they're going to try and mix this all down. Fuck that. That's why my style is the way that it is, because in the 90s and the 80s and shit, they weren't peeling and chopping and cutting and placing the blood and this and that. Instead of they were a little bit, but it wasn't like they can today. You
Let's be
know, where you
honest, though, Polar Bear. In the 80s and the 90s, we didn't have, okay, you need 16 bars, you need 20 bars. No. Look, you got a
you
minute and 10 seconds. You go for that whole time, make sure you can fill it.
yeah,
That's how I remember it being.
yeah, and
Like we
you
didn't
did it.
count bars.
Did it in a take. You didn't take, you know, if you took 50 takes, then it was the 50th take that you took. You know, that's the one that was the best one that you did. That's the best one that we're keeping, you know, like, okay, song's done, you know. If
Unless you
it
go
was the
back to
30,
30. Unless you go
then
back to 30 because you thought 30 was better and somebody else just told you to keep retaking it until you found a better one.
yeah. Son of a
There's
bitch.
always that one person, oh, no, try it again. You can do it. Look, if I keep
Do it
doing it
again.
until I do it better, then I ain't going to get no better and I'm going to get bored.
Yeah, that's
No,
right. Well, sometimes you feel it. And to me, it's like music isn't perfect, man. Life isn't perfect. The universe isn't perfect. We aren't perfect. So when you get that little, you know, I was late starting that bar by that 16th of a fucking second, you know, like a lot of people will hear that. A lot of people won't hear that. But as the artist, you hear it. But those little imperfections are what make that song perfect. And, you know, that little note that you hit off key for that 1 second, you know, that's what made that song authentic. You know, I said that word and it sounded funny the way that I said it, but the rest of the song is fucking tight. You know, you keep it there. That's what makes that music authentic. That's what makes that original and shit. That's what, you know. So today's music I find is so over engineered and so over recorded and so pieced together and spliced and shit. You know, and you can hear that stuff, man. Like
I can agree, but there's a little bit that I got to call, just like I did on the last one. Some auto tune doesn't sound, not the auto
oh,
tune,
no,
but synthesizing
it's
the
all
voice.
yeah. If it's right for the song, if it's right for the feel, if it's right,
Yes,
if you need,
yes.
you see what I'm saying? That yes, use every tool possible. The
Like
bottle with the key.
I've heard
the coffee
R&B
mug,
artists.
right?
Yeah, I've heard R&B artists where they will go and they will do like the hook line with all kinds of over engineering, like the
Yeah,
synths and everything, and it sounds good. But the rest of the song, it's not the hook. They're actually using their natural voice, and when they
yeah,
have it clashing like that, it actually sounds good. But then you hear have people that's doing the whole song, and it just sounds trash.
yeah. And it's so that and that's back to what I said is like it's if it's used in the right manner and used at the right time and put in at the right spots in the song, then yeah, it's some songs are great with it, but I've heard some shit with synthesizer with that shit, and it's like, man, you know what? You should have just left it out. That doesn't even go with this song. That doesn't even go with the feel of the what are you doing? Like, but anyway, that's personal opinion. A lot of
Oh,
people love that.
absolutely.
Like that's a lot of people love it. That's what they want to hear all day, every day. That's your thing. That's your thing. To me personally, if it doesn't suit the song, don't put it in there. That's what kind of
Um,
makes this garbage in the end.
I would, I mean, like Post Malone, he does it good, but then you got
Yeah,
other artists that just oversaturate the hell out. It sounds horrible. So I mean,
yeah.
just when it comes to that, I think people just need to know their limit more or less, and just don't overdo it. You can always overdo it when you're synthesizing voices.
Dude, when we were doing that song the other day that I was talking about, we uh we layered my voice over part of the chorus, and we actually synthesized and auto-tuned it and shit, and it was like, yeah, it sounds nice, but it totally fucked up the song. Like it totally did. Like, and I couldn't hit a note to save my life singing, but but the auto-tune, it made it sound good. It made it sound all right, bearable anyway. No pun on the bear. But no, man, it kind of ruined the song. It just didn't fit with the song. It just, so we just took it right out. And that was just part of the learning process, part of I haven't done this shit in 25, 22 years, man, 21 years. I haven't touched this stuff. So it's all new to me now. Everything is all new to me now because everything's all click and paste and chop and put this here, record that, and splice this and put that. And I'm like, no, man, no, 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 no. Let's make the beat. Let's do an audio track. We like it, we keep it. We don't like it, we scrap it. We do it again. Like then fuck that. No, no cutting and splicing and splapping and stipping. I don't like that shit.
The next question for you:
Yeah.
name what artists won't you work with
Won't I work with?
that you would never consider working with, no matter how much money was involved. Is there any? Like me personally, I'd interview just about anybody on this channel except for Lil Nas X. I don't like that dude. I absolutely can't stand that dude because he markets towards children. So I'd never do a like interview with him.
Um, well, that I wouldn't work with. I could probably name a whole bunch, actually. And it's it's not for personal reasons. It's that, their feelings and their topics and what they talk about and their expressions are not they do not, they I don't agree with them. The
Completely
way that they
out of line.
themselves, I don't agree with them. So I would never want to work with those people for that reason. I'm not trying to push that message. I'm not trying to pass that message. So I would not work with those artists for that reasons. If you're asking me if I hate any artist, I don't hate any artist, but I do disagree with some of the messages that some artists put out there. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say hate because like I said, I can't stand him. I can't stand that specific artist I mentioned, and that's because of how he markets towards kids. But I
I
was just
I
primarily
never
saying which artist. Like
when
if
I
there was good.
no, just when I heard about some song that he did.
You ain't
Oh,
even got to name it. You ain't even got to
I,
name
anyway,
it.
it was marketed, and it was basically like
I
a
think
lot
it
kids were
starts with an
allowed to watch
M.
it, but there was some very questionable shit in it, and
Yeah, starts with an
I
M.
totally disagree with that. Anything like that, man, like no, and I would never support an artist like that.
See,
Never.
that's
No.
how I feel. At 1,000,000%. Now, if he would have made that crazy shit and marketed it towards adults, like marked it, hey, this is not for kids under 18. Okay, you
Yeah,
know what? Hey, I can support that, even though I can't support what's in your video, or I don't
yeah,
agree with what's in your video, or something like that. I would still
yeah,
support their decision. But when you market it to everybody, it's
yeah.
not marketable to everybody. Kids should not.
That's it.
And I mean,
Miss,
even
listen,
if it's on the other side, where you got
like,
people that's on a complete the biblical side, if you want to call it that, I wouldn't agree
yeah,
with them in trying to indoctrinate kids like that. So
yeah.
that's how I feel.
You know, like 50 Cent said, man, this is grown folk music. Some of this shit is grown folk music, and it's for fucking grown adults. It's for people that are, not still learning about shit because they
Yes.
know the difference. We know the difference between the storytellers, the naysayers, and all that shit. Whereas that's a bad influence on some of these younger kids that say, "Well, that's just how it is." This guy
Yeah, because
isn't
I
painting a
mean,
picture that was his life. This is and that's how you're supposed to be, and da 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 da. And that negative influence. No, I don't agree with any of that shit at all, man. I
like look
really
what
don't, man.
Tupac used to make a lot of sense because he would make the gangster rap, but he would
He
also
would.
talk about doing things that he had to do for his people. This,
When you go back on the topic of Pac, that could be an interview that lasted us for fucking weeks, bud. I love Tupac, obviously. Yeah, I kind of idolized the guy growing up, for many reasons. The but a lot of his stuff that was released was the marketing aspect of his music. Man, it was just to get the fucking record sales, and it was really sad because after he passed away, a lot of his real shit started coming out.
his
His real deep,
interviews and things like that.
the shit that made you fucking cry. And I'm not talking about like changes cry. I mean like fucking you're feeling this shit inside, man. And a lot of that stuff, that unreleased material that was finally coming out was like, dude, why didn't they do this before? Why weren't they saying this shit before? Why weren't they letting them do it? And then, you go back and you see who he was marketed to and marketed through. And it's like, that's why. That's fucking why. He had no say. He
I
was the
agree.
dude that going into the fucking studio every day, 2 songs a day. It didn't fucking matter. If he had nothing to do, it was going into the studio, 2 songs a fucking day. The guy died with 10 times the amount of fucking material unreleased than he had released. You know what I mean? They're still releasing new shit by Bob. So
Yeah,
it was sad that they waited until he died to release that. What I felt was like his fucking best material, hands down, man. He had some good gangster shit, but um those heartfelt songs and shit, man, and like some of the unconditional love remixes that they got out there right now, it's like holy shit, man, like damn, these are some
he
good songs,
he
man.
did do some magic that just it felt like he was he put the two in a day, but only
Yeah,
two a month were coming out of it. But
yeah,
all
right. So
those other
how
ones were so good. So I
yeah,
know what
and
you're
how
saying. Didn't an artist buy his whole thing off of his mom or whatever, or his family?
I
I
I
know
can't
somebody made
remember.
a offer to buy it all, but I can't remember who.
I didn't hear about that, but
This was
I
years ago, or maybe
but I
somebody got permission to use it.
yeah, because what I heard was after Pac died, um, Death Row took on all assets. Afeni felt that that was wrong, and so she took them to court. And anything that he recorded prior to Death Row, she had the rights to. Anything recorded after that, it was Death Row's material. Immediately after that, like literally like 30 days after that, they released Death Row's greatest hits, which included Brenda's Got a Baby, and I think 15 on Death Row or something like that. 2 songs that were released on like Tupacalypse Now, and it was like, yo, you just breached the whole contract that they just did. So she took them back to court, and they lost 100% of the rights completely. She gained everything, and after that, I never heard any that it changed anybody's hands after
Yeah,
that.
I
But
didn't want to make that statement. I wasn't saying it changed hands.
yeah,
I remember a couple years back there was something going on where somebody was either trying to buy it and it was like picking up pretty large news, or they got permission to use one of his tracks or something like that. Can't remember exactly what it
Oh,
was.
oh, I know that. Geez, who was it? And this was like 2 years ago now. Frig, I forget his name now. There was some artist, and he was trying to get a Pac verse, but
Maybe that's what it was. Because
yeah,
it wasn't that anything changed hands.
yeah, nothing. Yeah, and literally, it's something that I don't even think came to fruition in the end.
Gotcha.
I think uh, I think it just went into talks and it never ended up happening. I'm not
Well,
sure though. Don't don't quote me.
no, no, I'll look into it eventually. But I do want to let you have the floor. You got which tell people what you got going on, what's coming up, anything you want to promote. Feel free for it.
We got the big thing that we're doing that I'm doing right now is well, as you know, I recently had a friggin' laptop crash. We were editing the video for the gift for Tom and Nova and Brandon, and we lost all that material. And so I have to go. I'm going back through my phone a little bit every day and finding all the videos again through Messenger. There's literally like thousands of messages to go through. So we're putting the editing process back in. We started editing those videos that I do have down, and we had to shoot my part, or we have to shoot my part again. So that part's coming, but we are still accepting videos for part two of that series. The the little piece of us. Um, we're hoping to maybe have a new song and video for you in the next little bit too. Like I said, Blind, it was just something fun, that I always wanted to do. So that drops today at 4 p.m. AST. I don't
Make
even
sure
know
you
what
guys
time it
check
is.
it out. You
Yeah,
guys
man,
are
check it out. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like it, man. We have a lot of fun with this, man.
so
Um,
just for anybody wondering, he's saying 4 p.m. AST, not EST. EST, it would be 3 p.m. You guys are an hour ahead. Or no, we're an hour
yeah,
ahead. Something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. You're an hour ahead of me, I think.
Okay, but go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, man. So other than that, man, we're working on projects and trying to bring some comedy and stuff like that out and just trying to do different stuff, man, and have fun with life, man, and share with everybody. And
That's the only way
the
you
music
can.
the music is just it's fun to do it again, man. Like I'm glad for the experience, man. And so we're just gonna keep doing it. And I'm glad everybody's liking it. It's yeah, I'm very humbled actually because I never, I never, I never, this wasn't ever a thing, man. And to be able to do it again and have this much fun again, like, it's literally like being 20 again. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes me back to feeling that way when I loved music that much back then, like,
Deja vu.
and like, thanks to everybody, man. I'm very humbled for all the experience and all the support and the love that I get, man. It's great.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Oh, I'm sure everybody appreciates what you do. Now,
Yeah.
the last thing I want to do before we end it is if for anybody that sees this interview, you
Mhm.
always take away something whenever you watch an interview. What do you want people to take away? Like, what do you want your message to be conveyed as? Not necessarily anything you're promoting, but from you yourself. Like, what do you, when they hear your music, when they see your interviews, what do they want? What do you want them to take away from it?
Um, be humble. Everybody goes through some really hard times in their life, man. I'm going through some personal shit right now that's gonna come out in a song, but I'm not ready to tell everybody yet. But it's crazy. It's crazy. If you guys knew, you'd be like, what the fuck? So please be humble, man. Not everybody's having a good day, and a lot of people have a bad day every day.
Yeah,
So remember that when somebody snaps at you and how you feel when somebody snaps at you because you made a mistake, because you are in a state of mind because of something that you're going through. Just be humble. Be humble. Be thankful for your blessings and your family and the people that love you. That's like the number one thing, man. And stay true to you. Love yourself first. Because you can't love others and love anybody else if you don't love yourself first. And that's like the rule of life, number one, man.
Okay. So with that message he just put out there, I don't think you would care if anybody wants to clip that and share that and use it as a message to somebody you know that's like breaking down. I personally give 1,000,000% for people to clip that clip as long as PolarBear agrees. That's a pretty
100,
powerful message and it could lift people up.
100, 100. Thank you.
So, you guys just seen an interview that I did with PolarBear. More or less not an interview. This is where we bullshit, hang out, and chill.
Yeah, just sit
I
and had
had
a
a lot
coffee.
of fun doing it. I hope you guys come next week. We have Manny Walker, I think is his name. He's somebody from Pittsburgh, makes music. And
Cool.
he does a lot more than just makes music. He does other things. But we'll
Yep.
worry about that when the time comes. However, PolarBear's putting out a song at 3 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. AST, so you guys got to check it out. It's called Blinded. It's going to be the video. Now, we all said that we wanted more of this song, so let's see what he did with the actual video. Go check him out. He's got the very first hashtag below in the description, so you guys can hit that hashtag, check out the rest of his content. However, we are going to go ahead and end the interview now. And PolarBear, you are more than welcome to come back anytime you want another interview or just to hang out and BS. You're in the Discord,
Yeah.
feel free.
Had a great time, bud. Thanks a lot. Thank you much.
So with that being said, to everybody that's out there watching, stay savage. We'll see you later. I'm out of here, and so is Polar.